And the 2025 world champions are Jake Jarman on floor exercise, Angelina Melnikova on vault, no more on bars, all is right with the world, Hong on pommel horse, Donnell Wittenberg on rings at age 30 freaking 1. Don is a world champion. Everyone who's been waiting for this for 15 years, it finally happened. It happened. It happened. It is October 24th, 2024 here in Jakarta. And welcome to the number one Gymnastics podcast.
Or even 2025.
25. It's all the years.
Worlds has been so long that we went back in time.
Oh, God. I'm flashing back like Lian Wong to 2021. This is the number one massive podcast in the galaxy, and I am Jessica. I'm here reporting live on location in Jakarta with our team of fact checker behind the camera and Deanna Hong behind the video camera, and Spencer is in his lair underneath a air raid shelter where he buried his feelings and analyzes the data. This show is PG-14, especially when we get to the behind the scenes part. And our world's coverage is brought to you by Gymnastics Medicine. Learn more at their website, gymnasticsmedicine.org. The show is also brought to you by Club Gym Nerd members. And the way this works is the headlines are for everybody. Then we talk for another 45 minutes just for our Club Gym Nerd members, and they can ask questions live. So if you're a Club Gym Nerd member, switch over to your members only feed now if you're listening to this later. And there's also a Gymnastics World Championships headquarters on our website, GymCastic.com, where you can find all the videos, photos, everything. You guys, we got to 25,000 on YouTube. We did it. We're getting 2 pennies now for every view. Thank you so much. Okay, before Spencer just screams for 10 minutes about tonight's meet.
Oh, okay.
Let's start with some of the headlines because the most important things have happened here in the world of sports that pertain to gymnastics that aren't just the event finals. So one thing is the IOC president, or the new IOC president, she told Indonesia that they are officially excluded from the Olympic game bids now based on their exclusion of Israel. So I think this is very fair because if you want to bid to have an Olympic Games, the FIG claimed that Israel's visas were revoked partially because there were threats against the Israeli team and they couldn't keep them safe. Well, then if you can't keep everyone safe, you can't host an Olympic Games. So this is very definitive. Is that something you expected from an IOC president?
I mean, it is definitive because it has absolutely no actual consequences whatsoever. Indonesia wasn't bidding for an Olympics. So, it's still very IOC in that, we will say something very strongly if it's not actually practical.
They were in discussions preparing their bid, but yes, I hear you. This morning was the Fujitsu robot judging press conference, and as usual, it was only fact checker and a journalist from China who were there asking questions. And the report is that it is once again proven to be vaporware until proven otherwise, which means that there's no plan to use it or release it in the future ever. Watanabe was there. Coop asked that question specifically. What about, 28 or the 32 Olympics? Or no plans. We don't want to make promises we can't. So essentially, Fujitsu is paying the FIGs to use gymnasts' intellectual property to build robots. And that's what Fujitsu is. Until proven otherwise.
But I thought we got AID scores.
Did we? We didn't get any at all tonight.
So there was one during the men's all-around final?
There was one per rotation during men's all-around final, I think. And then tonight there were none in the arena, right? I didn't see any. I was also extremely focused because this was my favorite night. Scott Bregman says.
Scott says they were bidding for the 2030 Youth Olympic Games and the 2036 Olympic Games.
Okay. See, they were. I'm glad you believe Scott, but not me. It's fine.
I believe both of you. I'm just saying,
Thank you. The other thing I wanted to report on is that we got a lot of people asking us, hey, how do I report photos if I see photos of this World Championships in Jakarta that are exploitative of the athletes, how do you report them? So number one, I asked the FIG about this specifically because I know how, you should always go to the police and you should always report it to your national federation if it's a meet that's happening in your area where you live. And in the US, you can go to the FBI Innocent Images Task Force and report it. But I don't know, who do you report it to at an FIG meet? So anonymous reports can be filed directly with the GEF, which is the Gymnastics Ethics Foundation, and we'll put a link to that in the show notes. There are also a bunch of documents about safeguarding that you guys can check out. We'll link to from the FIG. And then if it's something happening immediately, so it's like during the World Championships, the FIG and the local organizing committee, which are referred to as the LOC in all the documents, they have safeguarding officers on site. So they are listed in the work plan, which is accessible on the FIG website, and we will also link to that. They can also be reached on WhatsApp. So they can act immediately. You can WhatsApp them and be like, hey, here's a link to the photos I saw on this wire. Here's the photographer, and ask them to review it immediately. So thanks for everybody for being so proactive about that. That's really what we need. And I think honestly what the FIG needs is like volunteers who just monitor the wires and are like, we are on the lookout for photos during this happening. So you're a gymnastics fan and you love looking at photos and you also know what to look for. Maybe this is what we can suggest. Most importantly, Spencer.
Yes.
You had a question about the medals, and I didn't even have to ask any of the athletes because they answered it right away. So let's start with Luke Whitehouse, who is the silver medalist on floor from GB, and here's what he had to say about the medals. Pause for dramatic effect.
Oh, always good. Yeah. Get ready. See, the longer you wait, the more I expect it to be great.
I mean, it's...
So you're building it up a little bit.
Here it comes. Fact Checker is furiously trying to upload photos for you guys to show them from tonight while he's also like trying to produce and play videos in the background too. So I'm just putting in the notes as dramatic pause for
to cut it out later. To ruin
fun
the
things
dramatic
that you get
pause?
live. I also just put these in here. So here's what he said.
I mean, it's way heavier than I thought it was. I like a nice weighty medal, so yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, we show the camera. Yeah, there you go. Nice weighty medal. You have the rare medal that actually. There we go. So, yeah.
Okay, good to know because I
They're
agree
really
with Luke
thick.
that I thought it was gonna. It looked like it was gonna be light, and I like a weighty medal.
Yeah. And yeah. Okay, so let's start with women's vault, the most controversial.
Oh okay, we have to talk about this insanity. This final. Whoa. Okay. Everything was ridiculous. If you like successfully completed the vaults you intended, you won a medal almost. Poor Lisa Valen was the only one who like successfully got through a vault final and didn't win a medal. But we started with Deng Yalan, who we were so excited about, 26 years old, first World Championships ever, first international meet in 10 years, made the vault final as the number 2 qualifier, and then she's vaulting, posts her handspring Rudi to start, intending to do that, hits the springboard, jumps fully over the vault, straddles it, and then lands, crumples to the ground in tears of depression because she was probably going to win a medal on vault, and then suddenly that happened to her. And it was horrible. And it ruined everything. And that's the end of it.
So awful. I felt so bad for her. And it was so weird because I watched her run and I was just like, her run looks okay. Like it didn't look like, and then I was waiting to see if did she land way too far forward on the board? Like it just was weird. But a lot of those happened tonight. She was so devastated by this. Like she could not stop crying at the end of the vault runway. And Fact Checker got so many great photos of this, and her coaches were just trying to take care of her because she was so upset. And she was like waiting to see if she could vault again. And we had a lot of questions about this because flashback to Antwerp 2023.
Yes.
When Voinea of Romania did not vault in a very weird way but no one could really tell why she didn't vault. So then the judges said, "Hey, we're going to let you vault again because that was super bizarre what happened. This was to qualify the team to Paris, and she declined to vault again."
Yeah, it's a different situation because she had run through.
But yeah, she had run through, but I almost was like, are they going to be like she also sort of like looked like she like touched the board there. So anyway, I was like, are they going to let her vault again? Because like clearly maybe like a bird flew in front or there was a giant bee on the vault. Like in my mind, I'm flashing back to that and I was like, but in this one other situation, even though it's not the same, they were going to let Voinea do it again. So obviously they should let Deng do it again. And we
do it
waited and waited.
again. No, because she touched the springboard. So that wasn't on the table.
It wasn't on the table, but I am just explaining
your feelings. Okay. My
Yes.
question was, which I don't know the answer to, was why she didn't just get a 0. Because she was standing up there for a while afterward, like gonna do your second vault anyway, you're in the vault final kind of thing. And then it looked like her coaches had to come over and tell her that she got a DNS, did not start, instead of a 0. So she wasn't gonna vault again, but I don't know why it was a DNS and not a 0. Because it's like, yeah, she didn't vault, she didn't do a recognized vault, but she hit the springboard. Just like if you were to, hit the springboard and stop yourself against the vault table, that's a 0. It's kind of the same thing. It would be a 0. So I don't know why it's a DNS.
So the thing that happened, the thing that the rules say is that so we all know failure to show support from either hand constitutes an invalid vault. Like, so she touched the springboard, which is a 0. No, not going over.
Right.
She never didn't put any hands on the vault. So it's a 0. But if the gymnast gets a 0 on one vault in finals specifically, you get a DNS because you can't average it. This is what it says. If you receive but DNS on the second vault, the overall result for the apparatus is marked as did not finish. No ranking will be allocated for the apparatus.
But this wasn't a DNS on the second vault. This was a DNS on the first vault.
But what I think they did was they DNS'd the whole thing, is what I'm saying. This is what I asked a bunch of brevets, and this is the answer that I got.
Okay.
I know, I'm just telling you the answers that I got and what was explained to me.
Okay. I'm still interested to know because, like, it should get a score of a 0. But a score, I thought.
Yeah, I assumed it was going to get a 0, and then she would be able to do the second vault, and then they'd just be like, well, DNS because you can't average. I mean, we're not going to, you have to do 2 actual vaults.
Mm-hmm.
But so maybe they were just like, well, we can't anyway.
Okay.
But that's the answer I got from other brevets. I wasn't allowed to go and interview the actual judging panel, so I asked the other brevets other brevets that I know, and that was the answer that I got.
Okay.
Dang. So yeah, so finally her coaches came up and just were like, put their hands up very kindly. And we're like, okay.
Like, you have to come down. Yeah, now, yeah.
You have, because she would have stayed up there all night and just been trying to get herself together to do another vault. Because my God. And then, I don't know if you saw this, but Watanabe even came down to console her, which was so nice. I really thought, because that's just like such a shitty situation and so awful. And he also did that for Simone in Paris when she competed again after she had to leave the competition for a different reason. But anyway, then, and Watanabe is the FIG president. But then the insanity continued. But shall we go in order, or should we start with the next
in order of insanity? No, I think we need to go to next biggest insanity, the Schönemaier vault.
Yes.
So Karina Schönemaier upgrades to a Cheng for the event finals, which, first of all, I was like, did you see what happened before? Don't upgrade. Just do a Lopez and win your medal. But she upgraded to the Cheng, did it one-handed, and got the 2-point deduction that we have been talking about a lot this week and in the recent weeks pertaining to Leanne Wong's vault. Leanne went through fine on her Cheng, at least at this event, but Schönemaier gets the 2 points off. You only vaulting with one hand, the Michaela Skinner rule. And this is at least gives us like the circumstances of this Worlds have at least given us some good clarification on the rule, because we had Lian Wang makes contact with both hands. It's just, is she actually vaulting with both hands? They were like, that's fine. Schönemaier did not make any contact with the second hand. It whispered near the vault. It said, oh, hey, vault, but it did not, pat it on the back, at least. And so that's the difference. I think it's the correct decision, at least based on the rules. If you want to say that 2 points is too much for only vaulting with one hand, I think you have a fair argument that that's 2 falls, really. But
and it seemed like
you definitely only vaulted with one hand.
Yeah, and it seemed like they were trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, because they were definitely reviewing that, because she waited 700 years for her
It
score.
triggers, it's an automatic video review.
Right.
If the judges think it's one hand, that automatically goes to video review. So that had to take a long time, because that's like also one of the rules.
Yeah, which is very nice that you could tell they were actually following the rule, not just being like,
standards are not.
We all have eyes. We know her hands and touch.
Yeah.
But
I talked also the thing. One of the other things we talked about in our preview was the new deduction for round off half on vaults, where the 3/10 deduction for insufficiently doing the whole turn, which I think she also was going to get. But then it meant that her hand was exactly in the plane of the judge's line of sight to see that it was one. Like, Leanne's secondary hand is like eclipsed by the good one, the one that's really vaulting. So it's like,
she turns the other way.
She's like, you didn't see anything.
Mm-hmm. I talked to her coach after, and he was like, yeah, we work on this in the gym. This is, something. I think Schönemaier, we have an interview with her we'll put up, but she seemed more like, I think she felt like her hand touched. So yeah, apparently, I mean, and the thing is, like, there's a lot of talk from the Germans about this was like a 2-point deduction, and then if she didn't have the 2-point deduction, she could have, medaled, and like, but I'm like, yeah, but
deserved to win. I mean, she would have. I think she had actually, like, if you don't see that she didn't have 2 hands, she was the best vaulter in the final. Her Cheng was it was a great vault.
Do you think she should have been if she had that hand, that she should have been world champion?
If that hand made any contact, because we've learned that you just have to kind of brush it. If that hand had brushed, she would have deserved to be the vault gold medalist.
Yeah.
Because I think her Cheng was better than Melnikova's.
Yeah, Melnikova,
a lot
Jesus
better.
Christ.
She got it around, but I was also like, I don't know if you could see the replay of Melnikova's Cheng when she landed from behind, and I was like, oh, don't do that vault again for a while, because the way her knee just went in, which is like we see a lot in gymnastics landings. I was like, oh, don't stop. Take that back. Now Worlds is over. Take that back to the drawing board for a while. Don't do it for a while.
Yeah, it's shocking that she has those like gummy ligaments like Allie Raisman, because it's like crazy that she has not hurt her knees doing those vaults. My overall, like, watching this final, I was just like, first I was pissed because I was like, all right, Valen, like, she got that 14-1, but it's a handspring pike Rudi, but there's no pike Rudi in the code, so it's a laid out Rudi with a whole bunch of deductions, but then the each score deductions don't even matter on vault, because like freaking Melnikova got a 9-1 on her DTY, or double Tchenko, and I'm like, is everything so messy, and it doesn't even matter, and as long as your D is high enough, it's just like so frustrating to me. Even though I know like Schönemaier would have done, very well if she had the anyway. It's just like I'm frustrated.
Her vaults were my favorite vaults, even with one hand.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
that's the best Cheng of the event we've seen from anyone. And then the other, I thought her Yurchenko double full was the best Yurchenko double full of the final. So
I mean, then the other crazy. No, I thought Fontaine's was the best double full of the final.
Oh, really? I thought I would have put Schönemaiers ahead.
I feel like Leah Monica's of Canada was like higher, farther, better form, less pike down, like on every. Schönemaier is very good, but yeah,
I disagree.
Fontaine, I was like in a different category. But Fontaine was so excited. She was just like, I can't believe it. I made the team, and then also look at this.
Yeah,
I have a medal.
She got the award we gave to Abby Martin in the all-around final. Just like, do your routines and hit them. The just like, you guys, it's not that big of a deal. Do your routines and hit them award. Monica Fontaine, she was like, I'm not trying to upgrade any of my vaults. I'm doing my vaults. They're going to look exactly the same as they did at Pan Ams. They're going to look exactly the same as they did in qualification, and I'm going to win a vault medal.
Yeah, and she was unfazed. A
Yeah.
lot of other people had problems, which is the other thing that was upsetting to me, as Moors of Austria, who we totally love, she bailed on her vault and had to like basically just tuck Branny out, and it looked fine. It looked like her rebound was good, like her repulsion off the vault, and then she was just like "Wah," and just did a Branny, and it was like she looked upset. And then after her Suk full, she looked frustrated too. And I didn't get to talk to her. The whole mix zone situation here is a mess, you guys, which I can talk about on the behind the scenes portion. But I wanted to ask her what happened, but I didn't get a chance. Yeah, so that happened. And then, Kalmykova,
Yeah,
I thought she was going to
crashed her
die.
handspring Rudi.
Say that again?
I said she crashed her handspring Rudi.
Right. Yes. I thought she was going to die. I thought she landed on all fours, but she also almost hit her head. She landed on her knees. I was just like, oh my God, never. That was terrifying. Please don't do that. And also, I was like, that also isn't a layout. That should be a pike too. They need to add this pike because I cannot have it with this
They
nonsense.
used to have it. It's pretty recent that they got rid of the 1.5 pike.
Which everybody must just do everything piked, because you can just do like a corkscrew and you'll still get a 9-1. This is the theme of my entire finals watching, which were, by the way, also so exciting and great finals. And I so enjoyed this. Like yesterday's final was
you enjoyed the vault final?
Exciting.
Nobody enjoyed this vault final.
Devastated. I was devastated. But then I was like, oh, this is getting really excited. And then Joss hit, and like suddenly like she changed. She didn't do her hardest difficulty, but she was like figured it all out when it counted and did it. And she said that, oh, this is very important from Joss. This is what she had to say.
Oh yeah, I'm interested.
And I'm sorry, we're going all out of order, and poor fact checker is trying to find these clips as fast as he can.
I'm gonna go eat a donut tomorrow at the breakfast thing, and I'm gonna go get coffee with ice. So if I get sick, I get sick. I'm going home. Super excited about that. And yeah, I'm gonna go cheer Skye on, and then cheer on Dulcie and Leanne Dulcie tomorrow.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so the thing I love, like I was like, how are we gonna celebrate? Eat a donut and just have all the ice, and maybe, but she's in a very fancy hotel where they filter the water, so she doesn't have to worry about that. Eat all the ice you want, Joss. But she said she was really proud of herself for figuring it out when it counted, and also because she like has overcome the PTSD from 2023, is gone now, because she competed vault many times and successfully. So that is,
so I feel like the twist of the final was her being like, oh, I have a round off half on front full.
Yes. Which is really nice.
Have we seen her compete that before?
No.
Am I just forgetting it?
I mean, it makes sense that she has it.
I'll allow that I'm just like forgetting it, but yeah, so we usually see either the half or the 1.5, but she was like, no, there is a secret third option called the round off half on front layout full, which was a better choice because she lays it out. Because her problem in qualification, she got piked credit for the Lopez, because you can do a half twist piked. So she was trying to lay it out, but got piked credit. But the full twist was, was clearly laid out for layout credit. There's, a lot of knees and, body position deductions, but definitely, get the D score for it.
Just going back to Schönemaier for 1 second. She had the second highest E score. So to your point that you thought she should be the winner, she had
if the other hand had hit, she would.
If her other hand had been there. Yeah, she had a 9, and Melnikova had a 9-1 on that. And then Fontaine had the exact same E score on both of her vaults, which is also very impressive. 8-9 3 2 3 3 3. There's lots of threes after it. Any other further comments other than we need pressure points on the vault so that we can just know? You don't have to instantly have a review. Just be like, did there two things make contact on the vault or not?
No, I think we're putting the 2025 vault final away. That's gonna go in one of those, just like, ooh, that goes down in gymnastics history as one of the trouble finals, which we've had many over the years, but that was not great for most of the people, and it was a tough watch because most people weren't able to do their vaults, and these are supposed to be the best vaulters in the world. So it was not a great final.
Yeah. This reminds me of the 2003 men's vault final, which was similar, except there was more people being carried out on stretchers.
That we saved for the bars final.
Bars.
Well, I don't know if there was a stretcher involved. But.
There wasn't a stretcher, and let's just start with this. Okay, wait, in case we didn't tell you very specifically. So Melnikova is the vault world champion. Monica Fontaine of Canada is the silver medalist. Joss Robertson won the bronze medal, and Schönemaier would have won had been the world champion had she gotten her hand on the vault. But alas, it was not to be. Her hand had other plans. Now over to bars. Let's start with everything happened that was supposed to happen and all the stars aligned properly, and Namor is the bars world champion.
Isn't it great when you have a completely non-controversial champion who is so much better than everyone else? It's such a delightful, enjoyable to watch, well-executed routine, and it's just like, oh yes, this is what we want.
Yes, exactly. Look, her hip extension on her Nabieva. It's so good. She's just obviously she's the winner. Obviously, like anyone says she shouldn't be, you don't have eyes. Also, I want to talk about the controversial part, which is not controversial because of the scoring for once. It is controversial, or the code, I should say. So Zoya,
I think you get controversial scoring. I mean, I think Skye Blakely might have some thoughts about the scoring of this final, but you know.
So Zoya from Hungary. So she had a bone bruise from vault the other night when it was just very weird, and she just crumpled, and then they, took her off the mat.
The all-around final.
Yeah, in the all-around final. Yeah. So, but then we noticed, she's still on the start list for today. So Jarman didn't get in. She's going to compete vault. And I was like, oh, well, I guess she wasn't hurt. But no, she is. She has a bone bruise. For anyone that's had a bone bruise in their life, you can now squeal in discomfort and stop listening to this part, because if you know how insanely painful that is. Like, imagine having the worst bruise you've ever had, and then someone reaches in your skin and takes a hammer to that bruise anytime you put pressure on it. That's what a bone bruise feels like. It's so painful. So then we see Zoya, and I was like, well, obviously maybe she's going to warm up, or she's going to just dismount into her coach's arms, or, she'll just glide kip onto one leg and stop. No, she goes, I mean, this is the thing. I have to say, this is Indonesia, and in the great tradition of Rifta, who tore her ACL and was like, I'm not going to get this fixed. Instead, I'm going to go to the Olympics and do a one-leg bar routine. But Rifta, the difference is, Rifta became an Olympian and did that routine in Paris, but she just let herself down from the high bar and jumped down with the help of her coaches onto one leg, with her other leg totally super wrapped up. Zoya did not do that. I watched her do bars, and I was like, oh, well, obviously she's had some kind of painkiller. She's had an injection, but I think here actually there's the no injections rule, because I was like, oh, they'll just do what they do in NCAA, and they'll give her an injection of Toradol or whatever. She can't feel anything. It'll be fine. And I know there's rules about Toradol now, but we all know, not everyone follows them. So she did her full difficulty dismount. The minute her feet hit the ground, she collapsed immediately in so much pain, grabbed her leg, rolled to the side. Like, it was horrible to watch. I mean, I thought maybe her leg broke when she landed, because that's how much pain she looked in. But then, with gymnasts, you can never tell. They'll compete on a broken leg for years. But it was horrible. And then to your question about did they wheel her out? No, eventually her coach just picked her up And there was no plan. It was just all so incorrectly done. Her coach just picks her up. Like, I'm in the hallway and her coach is just walking past me holding her. And I was like, what is happening? And then he realizes he doesn't know where to go. This is the right way. Then he turns around and walks her back in. And then they finally have like a chair for her to sit in. And I was like, this is a mess. No medical went over to check her, make sure it wasn't broken before they moved her. It was just, and maybe the coach did. I don't know. But it was so upsetting to see. And I know she's an adult and she can decide for herself what she wants to do, but I hated seeing that. And, you know, athletes are insane. And of course they do stuff like this.
Mhm.
But it was not fun to watch.
No.
We are at 30 minutes. So we have so much more to talk about.
Yes.
But before we get to that, I do want to tell you, first of all, that I don't look like I'm wearing a very dirty shirt. It's just that we walked home in the rain, and you know I don't bother with umbrellas in the rain because it's my favorite thing. So I'm slowly, drying off here. But I do want to tell you about some stuff that was going on in the mix zone today that was so inappropriate, so unprofessional, and was just. I was very unhappy to see this, and I wasn't the only one. But before I tell you about those stories, and we get to deep dive into the rest of the competition, because this is where our conversation continues for Club Gym Nerd members who paid for our trip here. We have one more day of a live podcast coming to you right after event finals tomorrow. And so if you're not a Club Gym Nerd member, you can become a Club Gym Nerd member at GymCastic.com. And if you can't afford a membership, a bunch of your community here of gym nerds have donated if to people who cannot afford a membership. If you want to apply, it's just first come, first serve. You don't have to tell us why. We're not fact checking if you're actually, indigent and right now and cannot afford this. But it's just first come, first serve. So we're just going down the list. There's over 100 people on the wait list right now. Go to our forum, go to show stuff, go to GymCastic Scholarship, and you can apply there. All your information will be kept private. We will contact you if we have enough donations to give you the next scholarship. And if you want to donate a scholarship, you can email editor@gymcastic.com. So if you're not a Club Gym Nerd member, we will see you back here tomorrow, but you really should be, because wait until I tell you about this. So, also remember that if you're just joining us for this, we're here. We do this all year round. We've been doing this for 13 years. Sometimes you get 3 podcasts a week. During NCAA season, we have a whole fantasy gymnastics podcast too. And then we do college and cocktails on Fridays. So stick around if you like this. We'll make you fall in love with college gymnastics, even though the scoring is insane. And you could just burn it up and it wouldn't matter. So until tomorrow.
If you liked what you heard, get more by joining Club Gym Nerd.